LIBER CONCORDIAE. Invocation. In the beginning was the All, infinite and eternal. From the All sprang twin currents, Eris, the compassionate breath of life, and Carthage, the wild crucible of chaos. In their divine union was born concord, perfect equilibrium between life and death, between order and change. We, who walk the path of Concordiae, bow in reverence to the All and its eternal balance. May our minds be clear, our hands be steady, and our hearts humble as we serve that sacred harmony. In the name of Concord, we speak these words. On Concord and Consequence. Concord is the sacred harmony woven by the All, the balance eternal that must be maintained in all things. The initiated understand that every action, every passion, and every loss sends ripples through the tapestry of existence. To walk in concord is to walk in awareness of consequence, the cosmic echo that follows all deeds. The All has ordained that neither the light of compassion nor the fires of chaos should ever dominate unchecked. Each must temper the other so that equilibrium prevails. We are instruments of this equilibrium. Our interventions are guided by the knowledge that we do not command balance. We serve it. Thus, when we step into the world's turmoil, we do so with solemn awareness that any act, even righteous, may tilt the scales and must be weighed carefully against its cost. The All is the source of both mercy and storm, and it is not our place to label one wholly good or evil. Instead, we seek the middle path in all judgments. We know that to save one life may doom another, yet to let one evil go unanswered may usher in greater chaos. Such is the paradox of consequence. The doctrine of Concordiae teaches that ultimate judgment belongs to the All. We intervene not as lords of destiny, but as its humble custodians. Every time we stay our blade or decide to strike, we whisper a prayer that balance be served and accept that whatever follows is the will of the All. In this way, we act without attachment to pride or reward, ever mindful that we, too, are subject to the very consequences we invoke. Remember that there exist those in service of the All who are charged only to witness and never to act, the three silent witnesses of Mortis, who neither rule, nor intervene, nor seek worship, yet who endure as eternal observers of fate. Their burden is to know all and do nothing, preserving the memory and record of truth. By contrast, our brotherhood is called to a more active trial, to enter the fray when balance falters. We honor the witnesses' restraint and anonymity, and we emulate their humility. Like them, we seek no glory or worship. Like them, we remain hidden. But unlike them, we must sometimes act. Thus our charge is double-edged, to bear the burden of knowledge and the responsibility of action. With each intervention, we strive to be as selfless as those who only watch, altering the world only as much as absolutely needed to set it back on course. On judgment, judge with the eyes of concord, not with the eyes of personal desire. The initiated must practice holy discernment before all else. This means first to observe without prejudice or haste. Walk among the living and the dead with ears open and tongue still. See the suffering, the cruelty, the kindness, the fear, all without the cloud of ego. Only through true observation can proper judgment take shape. We do not rush to label one side good and the other evil, for we know each contains a seed of the other. Instead, we ask, what furthers balance? What feeds the distortion? The All's truth often hides in paradox. What seems just may sow future discord. and what seems cruel may in time restore harmony. Thus, the initiate judges not as ordinary men judge, but in light of the All's larger design. When the time comes to decide whether to intervene or stay a silent witness, remember that judgment is a sacred act, a moment of communion with the All's will. Do not let anger, vengeance, or worldly allegiances sway your scales. If blood has been shed or chaos unleashed, take measure. Is this chaos a passing storm that will balance on its own, or a wildfire that will consume everything unless quenched? Is this order a nurturing peace, or the crushing grip of stagnation that smothers life's needed change? In your heart, quiet the self until you feel concord's gentle weight tip the balance one way or the other. Only then act, and even then with regret that any must suffer. In judgment we neither relish punishment nor shrink from necessary consequence. We become, as it were, the hand of balance, guided by something higher than law or sentiment. Even as we judge, we acknowledge that we are fallible. Invoke humility at every decision. Before rendering judgment or executing our will, it is wise to speak an inward invocation. If this be thy will, O All, let it be done by my hand. If not, stay my hand and close my eyes. Such prayerful pause guards us against hubris, for we do not deliver ultimate judgment. We merely carry out the immediate course that serves equilibrium, and we trust the All to provide final justice beyond our sight. Know that once you act, the consequences leave your hands and return to the All. Therefore, do what you must and release it. Judge truly, act lightly, and let go. This is the way of Concord's servants. On trials. The path of Concordiae is strewn with trials, both worldly and spiritual. Expect this. Embrace it. For every trial is a teacher in disguise, a crucible to purify your purpose. Hardship is not punishment, but refinement, the tempering flame that strengthens steel. When famine gnaws at you, when the bitter cold bites, when exhaustion weighs down your limbs as you wander the ruinous roads, remember that each suffering endured with grace brings you closer to the All. We are not promised comfort, we are promised meaning. Our trials align our smaller selves with the greater balance by stripping away illusions of control or entitlement. In hunger, we learn the fragility of life and value of each grain. In loneliness, we learn to hear the whisper of concord within. In fear, we learn courage guided by faith. You will face moral trials as well. There will be moments when the horrors before you make you question humanity, question the very balance itself. You will see the innocent suffer and the wicked thrive, and feel the fire of indignation threaten your calm. These moments are trials of your restraint and devotion. Beware the trial of fury, the temptation to smite without clarity, to become judge, jury, executioner out of anger. Equally beware the trial of pity, the temptation to save everyone from pain, to undo consequences that, however tragic, might be necessary for greater harmony. The All tests us by pushing our hearts to their breaking points, not to break us, but to see if we rebuild ourselves kinder and wiser. In these trials, recall the vows of Concordiae. Recall that we serve balance, not our own emotions. Breathe, recite the proverbs of our order, perform the calming rite, as taught in On Ritual, to steady your spirit. A true initiate suffers, yet does not succumb, feels deeply, yet remains anchored in principle. At times, trials will come as loss and doubt. You may lose comrades, or see a promising outcome turn to ash despite your righteous intent. You may wonder if the All truly guides, or if concord is but a dream in a world ruled by ravenous chaos. Such dark nights of the soul are perhaps the greatest trials, for they tempt you toward despair or abandonment of our path. Know this, even the wisest among us have cried out to the silent skies for answers. Yet the All does not speak in human tongue. It speaks through experience and revelation. Endure the trial of doubt a little longer. Continue to do your duty, to observe, to aid where you can. In time, often when least expected, the meaning will reveal itself. A spared life bears fruit years later, vindicating mercy. A necessary death averts a wider catastrophe, vindicating tough choice. Patience in trials is a virtue of our brotherhood. Trust that in enduring, you are participating in a story larger than your present understanding. Every trial, met with faith, eventually yields insight, or at the very least, it will strengthen the resolve of your spirit, which is itself a victory of balance over chaos within. On marks, everywhere the initiated wander, there are marks left by the dance of chaos and compassion. Learn to read these marks in the world around you, for they are the language of consequence made manifest. Bloodstains and ashes on a cottage threshold speak of violence and fear taking root. Thriving green in an abandoned field may whisper that nature begins to heal where humans have departed. The anguished eyes of a survivor, the laughter of a child born amidst devastation. These too are marks and omens. Mark well what you witness. It is by these signs that you will discern where the balance falters. We are trained to see patterns others ignore. The cycle of reprisal and revenge spiraling out of control, or the heavy hand of oppression smothering hope. Pay attention to the small clues, for from them you piece together the larger puzzle of fate. To serve Concord is to be a reader of the unwritten, a tracker of the unseen footprints left by good and evil across the land. Just as we read marks, so do we leave marks, subtle signs of Concord's touch, as we carry out our charge. In each place where you intervene to nudge the balance, it is encouraged to leave a humble sign, known to our brotherhood, yet innocuous to others. This may be a symbol drawn in ash or chalk where eyes rarely look, a discreet arrangement of stones, or a whispered verse on the wind. Such a mark serves two purposes. It consecrates the ground to the All in a quiet blessing, and it signals to any fellow initiate who may later pass that balance has been tended here. Be judicious in this practice. Our marks are not graffiti to boast of our presence. They are offerings and communications. A mark might be left near a grave you have sanctified, on a threshold where you guided a family to safety, or at a crossroad where you intervened against a lurking horror. Having performed your duty, trace the seal of concord, as taught in our cipher, with a prayer. By the union of compassion and chaos, may Concord reclaim this place. Then move on. Let the mark speak in your stead. Know also that trials will mark you in turn. The work of CONCORDIAE leaves imprints on the soul, and sometimes on the flesh. Scars, whether from claw or blade or the ache of old wounds, are badges of honor when borne with humility. Each scar is a story of balance hard won, and a reminder of the costs that come with intervention. Do not shy from these personal marks, nor flaunt them. Tend your wounds, physical and spiritual, and understand that to live is to be marked by experience. Some marks are invisible. the weight of sorrow for those you could not save, the deep resolve that settles in your bones after witnessing unspeakable things. We carry these marks not as burdens of guilt, but as emblems of learning. In time, the pain of them can give way to wisdom. The mark of a mistake can teach caution. The mark of a sacrifice can teach devotion. Together, the Brotherhood of Concordiae forms a living scripture written in marks, each initiate a chapter of lessons learned in service of balance. And when we meet fellow initiates, we honor their marks with respect, for we recognize in those lines and eyes a reflection of our own journey. On solitary teaching. The way of the Brotherhood is often a solitary path. Though we are united in purpose, much of our journey we must walk alone. This solitude is not a punishment. It is a deliberate practice, a pilgrimage of one, wherein the initiate learns directly from the world and the all without human intermediary. In the quiet stretches of road, in the long watches of the night, the initiated finds their truest teacher, silence. Within silence, the voice of concord speaks to us, in intuition, in revelation, in the sudden understanding that blossoms when all else is still. Do not fear being alone, for you are never truly alone. The all is with you in every moment. Concord surrounds you, like the unseen air. Solitude sharpens your perception. In the absence of chatter, the subtler whispers of the earth and the echoes of the dead can be heard. Embrace these moments. In them, you come to know yourself and the cosmos more deeply. While alone, seek wisdom in the memory and record of those who came before. Our universe is full of lessons preserved in unexpected places. A crumbling diary found in the rubble of a fallen city may contain the regrets and hopes of a soul. Read them and learn how hope was lost or kindled. The old letters clutched in a long-dead hand, the names etched into stone by grieving families, the folk songs and prayers murmured by villagers at dusk. All these are teachings. They are the fossilized footprints of consequence, the preserved memories of how balance was kept or broken in ages past. In solitude, we gather these teachings. Each initiate becomes a wanderer librarian of the balance, collecting truths not in a single library, but in the heart. As it is said in the LIBER initiatorum mortis, we must shoulder the burden of knowing. But unlike those three who merely witness, we transform that knowledge into compassionate action. Our solitude thus has a purpose: to observe, to remember, and to hone judgment without the distortions of crowded counsel. Solitude also teaches self-reliance and restraint. With no eyes of comrades upon you, your true character is tested. Will you uphold the doctrine when no one watches but the all? In the dead of night, when desperation gnaws, will you cling to concord or falter into excess? These questions define us. The solitary road is where theory becomes reality. When an initiate resists the urge to forsake the mission out of weariness, that is a victory of doctrine. When an initiate chooses not to meddle in a village quarrel that must resolve itself, despite having power to dominate it, that is a triumph of restraint and trust in the all's timing. Equally, when an initiate chooses to quietly aid a stranger in need, though there is no order compelling it, it proves compassion flows, even when no reward or recognition follows. Such are the inward lessons learned only in solitude. Yet know that the brotherhood, though often apart, is a spiritual fellowship. In your solitary teaching, remember that others walk the same path on their own horizons. At times our routes may cross. When two initiates meet by chance or design, it is a convergence of concord. Share what lessons you have learned. Perform the rite of meeting, a simple exchange of bows, and the phrase, "In concord we meet." Strengthen one another, if only for a night, and part again come dawn, each to your appointed rounds. We cherish these rare meetings as reminders that, though alone, we are together in service. In between, take comfort that your solitary vigil is mirrored by many others unseen. The stars in the sky appear lonely, but behind each is a sun giving light. So are we scattered, providing subtle light in the darkness, together illuminating the world. On ritual. Ritual is the anchor of our discipline, the bridge between mortal mind and eternal principle. Through sacred rituals, the initiated align themselves daily with the harmony of concord and cleanse the spirit of the day's turmoil. Adhere to the rites not as empty habits, but as living prayer. At each sunrise, when night's chaos yields to dawn's order, perform the morning concordance. Stand facing the rising sun, or eastward if clouds cover the sky. Place your right hand over your heart and left hand outward, and recite the verse. From darkness, light. From discord, harmony. By the all within and beyond, I walk in balance this day. Let these words be uttered with intent as you visualize Eris and Carthage balancing within you. This dawn ritual prepares the mind for judgment and the heart for compassion in all the tasks to come. Likewise, at sunset, practice the evening release. In the fading light, kneel and touch the earth with your palm. Breathe deeply, and let the tensions of the day flow into the ground. Speak softly. From light, darkness, from striving, rest. All deeds I return to the all. All wounds I entrust to time. This ritual closes the day, reminding us that we must not carry guilt or pride for our actions. We acknowledge that we did what we could in service of balance, and now lay the outcomes at the feet of the all. In this way, the weight of each day's interventions will not accumulate as pride or sorrow in your soul. Instead, they are offered up, freeing you to begin anew with humility. There are also rituals of intervention that the Brotherhood observes whenever possible. Before you step into a moment of destiny, be it to confront a great wrongdoing or to save a life teetering between this world and the next, take but a brief moment for the oath of steadfastness. This can be as simple as tracing a small circle, the sign of concord, over your heart or forehead, and whispering, "Not by my will, but by the will of balance do I act." This invocation focuses your intent and wards against the toxin of zealotry. It is a guard that reminds you, I act not out of anger, not out of lust for heroism, but because it must be done. With this mindset, you enter the fray as a servant of concord, not as an avenger seeking personal satisfaction. Similarly, after any intervention, especially if it involved violence or significant change, perform a rite of atonement. Find a quiet corner or a safe time soon after, and light a small candle or torch. Even a single match will do in desperate times. Pass your hand through the flame, safely, and say, "As fire purifies, so let the all purify my deeds and burn away my errors." This humble act of contrition ensures you remain inwardly honest, acknowledging that no action is perfect. It asks the all to correct any unintended imbalances we might have caused. We also hold ceremonies for special occasions. When an initiate first swears the vow of Concordiae, it is done in a gathering of 12, if possible, 12 being the number symbolizing the full circle of time and harmony. This text does not detail the initiation rites, those are kept in the LIBER initiatorum, but know that it involves a symbolic trial and a sharing of water and ash, binding the new member to both compassion and consequence. Another key ritual is the funeral rite of balance, observed when one of our own falls, described further in On Departure. These rituals, great and small, knit our spiritual lives together. They are the heartbeat of the Brotherhood's faith, ensuring that even as we adapt to the chaos of the world, we remain rooted in timeless practice. Perform them with sincerity, and they will give you strength and clarity beyond your own. On Departure. In all things, the initiate must know when and how to depart, whether it be departing a village once balance has been restored, or departing this life when our final hour arrives. Departure is itself a sacred act of trust in the All. First, consider the departure from an assignment or locale. When your intervention is complete and the scales have been steadied, resist any urge to linger. We do not remain to be thanked or to oversee outcomes beyond the immediate correction. To cling to a place out of vanity, let them see what I have done, or out of anxiety, what if things go wrong again without me, is to deny the All's continuous guidance of fate. Exit with grace and invisibility. Like a gentle wind you came, and like a gentle wind you leave, leaving behind only the subtle mark of concord and the memory of some stranger's kindness. This protects both you and the balance. You from the snares of pride and attachment. The balance from becoming dependent on any one person. Our work often requires anonymity. If asked by those you aided, you may simply say, "A passerby, no more," or offer a blessing in the All's name and take your leave. Let them attribute their deliverance to fate or their own courage. In doing so, you encourage self-reliance and growth among those you help, rather than fostering reliance on external saviors. Remember, we are guides, not rulers. Once guided, let the world walk on its own. When departing a scene, also ensure you cleanse your presence. Take care not to leave tools or writings that could expose the Brotherhood unduly. Erase or obscure any tracks if revealing. However, do keep the promises you have made. If you vowed to return with aid or information, fulfill it before you disappear. Departing in concord means leaving no oath broken and no unnecessary trace. Before you take the last step away, whisper a final prayer for the people or place. May concord dwell here in my absence. Then hold no further anxiety. What comes next is in the hands of consequence and the All. Discipline yourself not to hover nearby, nor to constantly seek news. Trust the balance. If your role is needed again, life will surely lead you there once more. Otherwise, be content in not knowing, an echo of the three witnesses who watch without intervention. Finally, reflect on the ultimate departure that awaits us all, the return to the All. Death is not our enemy. It is the great equalizer and the final teacher. As initiated brothers and sisters, we do not fear our own death, for we understand it as the moment when our individual spark yields back to the greater light. Live and serve in such a manner that when your time comes, you may greet death as an old friend. In your final moments, if conscious and able, perform the last affirmation. Lay any symbol of the Brotherhood, perhaps your concordant sigil or a simple twig balanced on another, upon your chest. Close your eyes and exhale with the words, "All returns to the All. In concord I return home." Let this be your closing chapter. an act of will, that your death, like your life, serves balance. Those who witness a fallen initiate will, if they are trained, enact the funeral rite of balance. They will balance a feather and a stone on your body, symbolizing the light of compassion and the weight of chaos united in you, and then commit you to the earth or flame with the chant 3 times repeated. From the all we come, to the all we go, concordant in life, concordant in rest. This rite ensures that your passing is marked as a moment of cosmic harmony, not despair. Grieve not the inevitability of death. Recall the proverb we hold. Life and death are 2 hands of the all, clasped in an eternal greeting. The end of your journey as an individual is merely a new dawn in the perspective of eternity. If you have lived according to the LIBER CONCORDIAE, your deeds will continue to resonate after you, your memory becoming part of the guidance for those yet to walk this path. Indeed, in time, another initiate in solitude may find the marks or records you left, and your story will teach them, as all stories of the dead instruct the living. Thus the brotherhood of Concordiae endures across generations, a chain of souls linked by duty, each one departing but never wholly gone, each one a part of the all. Go forth now, initiated of Concordiae, into the broken world. Walk with solemn step and clear eyes. In chaos, remember compassion. In order, remember change. May your judgments be sound, your trials make you wise, your marks guide those who follow, and your solitude bring you closer to truth. Intervene where you must, refrain where you should. Perform the rites with a sincere heart, and when you depart, do so as a servant of the all, without fanfare, without regret. The all watches, concord guides, consequence teaches. In all these you are blessed. So it is written. So shall it be. Thus endeth LIBER CONCORDIAE. LIBER CONCORDIAE was written by F.D. Bush as an in-world doctrine for the stories of the dead universe.